feel like somebody needs to put words to that theme song. Hello and welcome everybody into another edition of the Solar Panel. Whether you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, listening to us on the podcast, however you're enjoying the show, we appreciate you, the Flaming Ballers. I'm Greg Esposito, ahoy hoy, joined as always by the Silver Fox, Dave King. Dave, how are you today?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, good. And then, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, the Carmel Thunder from down under. It's Saul Bookman. Saul, ahoy hoy.
How's it going? Are you saying you want to have your own little rabbit from 8 Mile moment? Is that what you're saying? You want to freestyle for us right here on the spot?
No, I don't
pull the video up right now, and you can, if everybody from the 623 put your hands up and follow me. No, you don't want to do
man,
that?
this is that would blow my mind if Espo just suddenly started freestyle rapping successfully.
Solar panel. No, I got nothing for you.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a good call. You should not do that ever.
No, I really shouldn't. Gentlemen, before we get into the Suns.
Solar panel.
Yeah, I got nothing for you. I am not a rapper or a singer. I have very marginal talents. This week has reminded me of that. One of those things is predicting the financial markets in any way. Not Suns related, but thought I'd bring this up. Did you guys know much about this NBA Top Shot thing going on right now? And we're going to sound like old guys, get off my lawn right now. But do you guys know much about that?
No. I followed it a little bit, but I don't know enough. I don't know enough to get in the game for sure.
Top
Basically,
shot,
kind of a cryptocurrency thing that's going on with virtual basketball cards is what it amounts to. You buy a pack, has video basketball cards on it. They are each tagged with a very specific kind of number to it, which is a very oversimplification of the technology side of it. But the market has just exploded on these things, right? A couple, some people making millions in terms of what they're making off of it. And me and all my infinite wisdom, I started thinking this week, and I went, why does this sound so familiar? Why does NBA Top Shot sound so damn familiar to me? And I went back and looked at my DMs on Twitter, and it's because they offered me a bunch of packs for free back in August to be an influencer for them. And I said, no, I only do this kind of stuff. There's some monetary value.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I responded back and I said, hey, guess I was the moron on this. Congratulations on all your success.
You could have got rich. You could have got rich.
I would not be sitting in this walk-in closet if I had simply wanted to put a few tweets out for a few of those packs. So,
let that be a lesson to you, kids. Don't think you're bigger than you actually are, okay?
Oh. Well, look, let
me tell you, most of those solicitations are not this. Well, most of those solicitations are, you're wasting time and energy for nothing.
Well, yeah, if somebody says, "Hey, give me $500 and I can give you $365,000 tomorrow on your porch," don't believe that one. But
well, the thing too was they hadn't launched anything. It was all just this idea, and I got a description on it, and because I'm the world's oldest 37-year-old, I was like, I don't get this. What do we? Why would anybody want to have a highlight that they can get anywhere, right? And when you hear the premise, it originally, without any of you seeing anything or any of the background really on it, you go, okay, what is this? Is it real kind of thing? And I, in all my infinite wisdom, turned them down. And I thought you guys would enjoy that story. But what I've learned is when I go, I don't understand this, and I'm not sure I want to be involved, that's when I probably should invest in something, because it seems to take
great
off.
Advice, Espo. If there's something you don't understand that requires your money to be in, just go ahead and do it. That's great advice.
I didn't say everybody else. I said me. I said me in particular.
I learned
I'm
from
not
Espo
giving
that I should give all my money
advice
to things I don't understand.
I did not give investing advice to anybody other than myself, because
Espo's off to a strong start this morning.
Yeah,
This isn't coffee.
First he's failed rapping, and now he's failed Top Shot.
Lyrically deficient.
Look,
financially irresponsible.
Yeah, that seems to sum up pretty much everything when it comes to me. And I thought you guys would enjoy that story, so I gave it to you because you know what?
We definitely enjoyed it.
If I can't make fun of myself, then well, you guys will do it for me. That won't matter, but you know, I might as well do it as well. Let's get to some Suns basketball for 5 minutes.
I just want to say there's some pretty cool stuff coming up in today's show. There's some really cool stuff, so you know, stick around because it's gonna be pretty awesome at the end.
Let's make this clear. Saul finally did a segment, and he's super excited to share that.
This is where I can see why you failed on Top Shot is because you only took a portion of the story. We actually have a special guest coming as well that I have not told you guys about, and they're going to be here hopefully at 8:30 if they wake up.
Whoop, whoop. Oh but, yeah, you got to set the alarm.
I think the chat will be super excited about this individual for sure.
Wow. All right. There we go.
Awesome.
Well, Saul just surprising people like crazy. He's like the Oprah of the Sun solar panel. You get a surprise guest and you get a surprise guest.
Oh, wow.
So there is that.
Imagine this.
We do have plenty to talk about though.
Thanks there. Hello.
Hello. I've sung twice on this show. We're off to a really bad start. Really bad start.
All right,
we do have Suns to talk about because I think there are few things happen this week. One of which, LeBron James refers to Devin Booker as the most the most disrespected player in the NBA. Let's just start off there. Do we agree with that, Dave? Do you think Devin Booker is actually the most disrespected player in the NBA?
Oh God. Well, you know what? Depends on your audience, obviously. Among the coaches, I think he's more disrespected than I would have thought. Obviously, among the players and fans and all that, he was ranked in the voted in the top 4 or 5 of all those media as well. But man, among coaches, I guess so. I mean, I guess so. I mean, they triple team Devin Booker, but they don't want to make him an all-star. That's interesting. But 2 years in a row, the coaches had a chance to put Devin Booker on the team, and the coaches declined. It is interesting. There's a former assistant coach, Steve Jones Jr., son of Snapper Jones, who now does a podcast with I forget.
We have 69
Nikias
right now.
Duncan. What did you say?
We have 69 people watching the stream right now. Nice.
Are you trying to tell me to stop digressing?
No, I'm saying we have 69 people watching the stream.
Oh, nice. Keep going, Dave. Sorry, keep going. I usually get these things. This is good. But anyway, he was a former assistant coach, and he also would not put Devin Booker on the All-Star team. So I'm going to try to get a one-on-one interview with him, and we'll post it as a midweek, probably podcast only. And we'll talk through why he would not put Devin Booker. He even has Devin Booker behind Zach LaVine.
Okay. Well, that
you're right.
I mean,
so I need to figure out the why on this.
Sometimes I just feel like individuals have a certain bias against maybe because of the style, you know what I mean? Like Zach LaVine does everything that Devin Booker does this year, but in the past, what has he done? You know, he's won a slam dunk title, and he's had some big games for sure, but you can't put, I'm sorry, Devin Booker's a better scorer than Zach LaVine, period. That's just how it is. And to say Zach LaVine is better than Devin Booker is outrageous. It just is.
Right. So, I just want to talk to him. He's otherwise an extremely insightful person, and so there must be something we're missing. I want to know what the coaches are thinking when 2 years in a row. It's a group of coaches. It's not any one person. It's a group of coaches who don't think Devin Booker is an all-star.
I think there's a degree of where I can understand where they're coming from compared to other players. I think there's still a level that Devin Booker I feel like can get to, and I'm still waiting for that level. You know, like just I don't know. There's some times where I feel like he struggles finding his own shot, and so how does he combat that? And I think that's the one element to his game that I think is missing to a degree. Outside of that, Devin Booker's one of the best scorers in the NBA. He is lucky that Klay Thompson's not around right now. Let's be honest about that. If Klay Thompson was healthy and scoring like he always does, Devin Booker would be on the outside again. And not by one, maybe by two now. You know what I mean? Like, so there's an element to Devin Booker's game. Devin Booker is missing. I know he dropped 70 in Boston. I get that. I like one of the best performances in Suns history, right? But Devin Booker still is waiting, is needing that just holy moment. Klay Thompson.
He had that in the bubble.
No, it wasn't Steph Curry and Klay Thompson like insanity kind of thing where Klay Thompson scores 37 points and only dribbles the ball 4 times in the second quarter. That kind of crazy just NBA viral moment. You know what I mean? The shot against the Clippers was his most viral moment in the bubble, right? But in terms of a game, the 70s is as close as it's come, and that was like 4 years ago. So I think he's still due for that moment. I think it's going to come, and hopefully it comes against a premier team, so everybody in the country can say, "Holy crap, there's Devin Booker! Like that's the dude."
I think you just brought up what the national problem with Devin Booker is. The moment that is in their mind is that 70-point game, and a lot of people took exception to that based on the way he got 70, based on the way Earl Watson handled that and the way it happened, right? And I think that still is in people's minds. I think they sit there nationally, and that's what they see, and they default to that. He's just a guy that scores high volume, and he isn't a winner. Like, I got into an argument with Bomani Jones from ESPN this week, right? He came out and he basically just trashed Devin Booker via Twitter, right? And went hard at it, right? And that I was respectful because I actually very much like Bomani Jones. I think he's very good at what he does, and I think he was just very wrong in this situation. But I tweeted out and I said, "This is what's wrong with the national perception," and he took umbrage to that, especially because I had tagged Devin Booker. He called it a snitch tag. Don't know if the kids know about that, but apparently I snitch tagged Bomani Jones.
Hey, if you come at Bomani, you better come strong. That's for sure.
Go back and look. I think I held my own, because what I didn't do was I didn't let it devolve into a shouting match with him, which is when he's at his best against people, when they're just irrational. I showed enough respect where I think I held my own, but he was like, "Oh, you got snitch tag. You want a pat on the back from Devin Booker?" And I'm like, "No, but I want at least somebody on the national side to admit there may be a little bias, because how many Suns games have you watched in the last 5 years?"
Yeah, but that can't always be the out, though, because there's been plenty of national people that have watched plenty of Suns games, and they still are not fans of Devin Booker. I hesitate to go to that angle all the time, because it seems like that's what Suns fans always go to is, "Well, you haven't watched this." Well, how do you know they haven't watched this?
But I don't. Right. I don't think.
I watched Trae Young and the Hawks, and I don't even like the Hawks. You know what I mean?
I think I was a little more in your camp and saying, like, you've watched him for small stretches in games, like you've tuned in and seen it, but the Suns haven't given you a reason over the last 5 years to really have to pay attention all that much. And to me, until they do that, until they get to the playoffs and he has a moment like you're saying in the playoffs, I don't think you overcome what's going on right now. That's why Chris Paul got voted in by the coaches, and Devin Booker had to be an injury replacement, because Chris Paul has the perception nationally of being a star. People see, oh, the Suns are winning and having major success. It must be because Chris Paul is there, not because Devin Booker took a step or Devin Booker adjusted his game to fit next to Chris Paul and they work well together. No, they default to it's Chris Paul, right? Because they've seen that. And I think Devin Booker is disrespected just simply because of perception. I don't really think it has much to do with actual game or anything outside of the fact that the Suns have been massively irrelevant for 5 years, well, for 10 years, but for 5 of them with Devin Booker. So why should anybody have respect if they haven't really given them reason? And I think that's you got to earn respect. Respect is not given, respect is earned. And
Well, it's
until the Suns have a national moment, it's not earned.
It's a little unfortunate that for Devin anyway, that he's not in the East and in one of the top 5 markets in the country, because Zach LaVine's getting the respect and he hasn't done jack.
Right.
Well, that's true. That's another
Trae Young's
fact.
getting
In
the respect
the
and he
East.
hasn't done jack.
In the East, and that's
Right.
not even the West.
Yeah.
Oh, Trae Young,
Right.
high draft. Like, that's another thing Devin Booker has against him, right? Wasn't a starter in college, so didn't have all the hype coming out of college. Was drafted in the very late lottery, which meant he wasn't hyped by anybody coming in that way. Didn't play a whole lot his rookie season, at least the first half of it. There's all these factors that he wasn't one of the hyped guys, and Trae Young came in super hyped, right? And that's why they ride that. Same with Luka and a lot of these guys when they come in super hyped. Zion, another one, we talked about it. The league has a vested interest in him succeeding because he was a flashy number 1 pick, right? Devin Booker didn't have any of that. Devin Booker has had to scratch and claw to get all of what he had.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Legacy of being the number one.
I mean, pick. Like the number 1 pick is like whatever, because you could just look at DA and understand that he doesn't get nearly the hype or the love that Zion did straight out the box.
Well, but Zion is a walking highlight reel from college, right? Remember how everybody was pumping him just because of what he did in his brief stint in college and just some of the dunks and everything. That's why there's an explosiveness to his game, there's an excitement, and that's why the league pumped him, because this has always been a league about exciting young stars coming in and trying to pump these guys up, creating new faces of the game, right? Devin Booker just wasn't in that group when he came in the league too. So he didn't even have that shine coming in. I think there's just a lot of factors that play into it, and none of them are an excuse why he's not getting the respect, but it at least explains a little bit of why it's happening.
David Wigton in the chat. DA gets as much negative attention as Book should get positive attention. That's true.
I think some could argue he's one of the most disrespected in the league by his own fan base.
Actually, right. That's the thing. DA and Booker are a little bit different that way, in that DA gets more negative attention from his own fan base than the rest of the country put together.
It is crazy how much of just go back to the other day. What game was it? Devin. Oh, against the Nets. When Devin only scored 5 points the entire game after the first quarter. And everybody went at DA. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Time out. What, this is the superstar. What happened here? You know what I mean? Like, and I love Devin Booker. Like, that's not the argument here. But I think there is something to be said about Devin Booker being more, he doesn't have the flash, right? So he's got to do things in a very efficient and very clutch way. And he is clutch. But I just think that there's something missing to take Devin Booker from the star status that he enjoys here in Phoenix. He's starting to get nationally to the superstar status like a lot of the other premier guards in the NBA. And I would even say, LeBron kind of doubled down on the disrespected comment and threw in Dame Lillard as well. I think Dame Lillard is far more disrespected nationally than Devin Booker, because Dame Lillard has proven it in the playoffs.
And he's done it. Yeah, he's won series.
You know what I mean? And so
there's a difference between those two, though. There's attention for Dame Lillard and Dame time and all these things. His is simply, I think, because of the market he's in Portland. It's just not a sexy market. It's not a lot of attention with Portland, where Booker doesn't even get the shine that Dame gets at times. But what will change that is big playoff moment.
But Dame that's what I'm saying, is Dame has had that. Dame has had those big playoff moments, and he's still disrespected.
I think Okay, I don't disagree. I just think he's disrespected in a different way. Like,
Let me ask you guys a
to some
question
people,
here.
Devin Booker is an obscure name. They
Like,
don't even know who Devin Booker is.
Luka Doncic over Dame Lillard is a travesty.
Ridiculous.
It's a travesty.
That's a fan disrespect thing.
It's still
Fan
disrespectful.
voted.
It's still disrespecting.
It's still disrespecting. Okay, Saul's getting worked up because his voice pitch is higher than his fiance's.
I don't know why.
Hey, question for you guys: is Chris Paul the best teammate that either of Dame or Devin Booker has ever had?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the reasons Dame, well, not the only, but one of the reasons Dame doesn't get as much respect is he's all about the way he plays is all about saying he wants to win games, and he actually tries to win the games, but then they don't win enough games once they get to the playoffs because there's nobody who can take pressure off of him making all the shots. The same had been true of Booker, and I'm actually pretty happy, obviously happy about Chris Paul being here, as opposed to my Espo friend. But, I'm really happy about Chris Paul being here because now Devin Booker has someone to take the pressure off of him, and he can just do that, and they can win possibly more games.
Hey, I didn't say that CP3 had 1 foot in the bathtub, if you remember. That was not me. I simply was worried about his 41 million. All right. That was what I was worried about. And to hell with money.
Play the tape, Saul.
If he weren't there,
41 million.
It's when Corey Williams said that Chris Paul isn't washed up, but he's near the bathtub.
He's standing next to the bathtub and the water is running.
It was probably the best quote of the year, let's be honest. But
no, that was great.
I don't agree, obviously, watching Chris Paul for this season. He definitely does not look anywhere near washed up.
Yeah, I think he stuck his hand in the bathtub, unscrewed the drain, and threw the stopper away. He's not in the bathtub. He's not near it. The water's not even warm in that bathtub. Let's say that, Oh yeah.
So Dave Wington in the chat says, "Can Armani mode be a thing going forward?"
I think it's just book it. I love book it. We just need to make that bigger.
I think Armani mode. That's what I've been pushing for because there's nothing more stylish and high end than when Devin Booker it goes into that FU mode. I think that's Armani mode is where I want to go with it, but we'll see. We'll see how if that ever catches on. I highly doubt it. I had one to catch on, but not a lot of them. So you want to any final thoughts when it comes to disrespect and Devin Booker? I mean, I think we all agree that he definitely is disrespected, and I think thank you, Marina Stock, who says Armani mode equals barf. Thank you for the nice
not a
visual
fan.
emoji.
Apparently, not a fan.
Which is fine. You don't have to be a fan.
Call it
any
Bomani
final
mode.
thoughts on Devin Booker disrespect?
Bomani mode.
The refs, Darth Voida put in there the refs disrespect Devin. I mean, obviously there was that obvious foul that all of us saw, let alone the refs should have been there, should have called it on the last shot of the game against Charlotte. But there is a little bit of disrespect, and I don't know. He just doesn't get the easy calls. He gets the calls that a non-superstar gets. He should be getting the calls that a star gets, and he doesn't.
I don't think.
I mean, he was averaging 7 free throws a game a year ago. He's not playing any different this year, I don't think. He's only at 4 or 5.
I don't think any. I don't think any star even gets that foul call against Charlotte. They let guys play at the very end there.
Let's just say it like this: he got fouled against the Clippers too, but he made the shot, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but this was full
similar.
on the wrist where he couldn't follow through, and
it was the same thing. Paul George fouled the crap out of him on that shot.
Yeah, go back and watch that. He did. He gets all of his arm. Also,
why are you even in that position against the Hornets?
Don't blow a 17-point lead.
That was it. And that's what Monty said after the game. He's like, I don't want to hear it about the refs. We shouldn't have been there.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. So second half of the season, the schedule was released earlier this week. And, I was actually surprised, and you can see if you're watching on the stream, you can see the schedule up there. I believe Darth Voida actually did this image, so thank
Yeah,
you
buddy. Nice
to
job.
Darth
Darth Voida, you're getting some love right now, baby.
on here.
Whoop, whoop,
Oh yeah,
whoop.
his at name is right there on it. So, but you know what I think I actually was surprised with. I didn't expect the season to go all the way into the middle of May. They had talked about end of April, beginning of May at the when they originally unveiled this. It goes until May 16th now is what we're looking at for the Suns. Obviously starts right after the All-Star abbreviated All-Star break. So is there any stretch here that stands out
Yep.
to you guys in
Yep.
terms of what's going to
Yep.
be most important for them?
Yeah, that stretch right there on the East Coast, Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, New Jersey. Then they have a little reprieve with the Knicks, but then they come back home and they got the Clippers and the Jazz. That 7-game stretch right there that could be a big turning point into whether or not they get home court advantage in the first round or not really.
To me, what absolutely sucks is those last 5 games, because everyone's going to be still playing for positioning. There's not going to be, I don't think there's going to be enough separation this year for the really good teams to rest in the final games like there had been in years prior. I think every single game is going to be a dogfight. And when your final 2 of the whole freaking season are against the Spurs, that's scary to me.
It sets it up for old time wounds for sure.
Wah,
I think
wah.
I think I'm actually in a different camp than you, Saul. I think the stretch that could define it is early in that second half. Two against the Timberwolves, Lakers, Heat, Magic, Raptors, and Hornets, and then Atlanta, right?
You're
The
kidding.
Lakers are the only good team you play in that stretch, right?
Well, you never know with Miami.
Well, Miami could turn it around, but
Miami's
as of right
getting
now,
better.
not a
Toronto's
great
getting a lot
team.
better.
So,
Go ahead.
you look at that stretch, and this is a stretch where you go, well, they've played down to their opponents, right? And if they don't play well in this stretch, it could impact their seeding quite prolifically, right? I think you have to come out of here with maybe 1 or 2 losses max to set yourself up for the remainder of the second half. And if you pull this, we're going to let the Timberwolves hang around or make a comeback, same with the Magic or the Hornets again, you're going to put yourself in a hole that you're going to then have to dig out of when you're playing those better teams in the second half of your schedule, where that should be a run where you pad what your record is there and put yourself in almost a undoubted you're going to be in a top 6 spot and avoid the play-in.
I mean, if you look at the Suns record right now, they're 21-10, right? 21-10. I mean, it's hard for me to look at this schedule and not think they're at least going to get to 40, if not 45 games.
I agree, but if you play down to opponents like they have in the first half, that puts that in jeopardy.
Yeah, we believe that they've played down to their opponents, but they're actually against teams that are currently below 500. They're 14-7. It's just that we are remembering every single one of those losses to teams that are below 500. So, and then we're putting in our back pocket and forgetting about the wins on teams over 500. So they are winning 2/3 of the games against teams currently over 500.
And again,
under 500.
like they're not the only team to be doing this. The Lakers have lost to some bad teams. Like everybody loses to some bad teams. Everybody has an off night. Everybody plays down to their competition. It's the NBA. Like it happens. But the good teams, like the Suns, have proven of late, even though they lost to the Hornets, against the Pelicans, they were struggling. Just like it was almost a mirror image of last night against the Bulls, or on Friday against the Bulls, where they played like crap for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter they turned it on and they won the game easily. Like what just happened?
Same as with the Pelicans a week ago. Yeah,
and that's what the Lakers do. That's what the good teams do. They just turn it on in the fourth quarter and put you away.
I agree, but when you look at what Dave said in terms of 14-7. that means they have a worse record against those bad teams than they do against the good teams because they're 10 games over 500, aren't right?
No, it's the sense doubling.
Oh,
It's 2-1, 2 wins to 1 loss. Come on.
Okay.
Well,
Look,
You're not a math major. You're a podcaster.
well,
We
it's
get it.
true. This is true, but I would like this team to play better and not lose 17-point leads to inferior teams.
So would I.
When you're, I mean, I think that's one we all can agree on, right?
We can all agree on that. Yeah.
Let me just say this, okay? The second half of the season is going to be fun for the first time in a long time, and the bubble was awesome. This is going to be 10 times the bubble, I think, as we head down the stretch. Also, we have a special guest about to join us.
Hey.
Who?
Hey.
Go ahead, Dave. Finish your thought before I bring him
Darth
on.
Voida. Nope. Thank you again, Darth Voida, for giving us that great graphic. The only last thing I'll mention is the Suns are only scheduled for 4 national games in the second half.
Yeah, but that can always change.
Yeah, it can. Okay, go.
All right. Well, here's our special guest. We haven't seen her for quite a long time, but she agreed to come on the show, and the one and only Miss Lindsay Smith is here.
Hey, Lindsay Smith.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We
Are
appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we can hear
appreciate
you.
the invite. All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure. What's been going on in your world?
Watching some basketball. I mean, there's not much else in the world, right?
There's nothing else going on.
Look at you still repping the Valley.
She got
on
the
that
Valley swag going on.
I got some really cool swag. Like, got to keep it fresh, you know? Got my team.
Lindsay, we've seen this team, play for the first half of the season so far. 31 games. What's been your impression, watching this team play?
I mean, man, I am just really excited for Suns fans. Like, I know there's still things that you can nitpick and things that need to get a little bit better, some consistency things, but I'm just really excited to have a team that, is competing, that is playoff bound for sure. It's just been really cool to see the progression of this team, especially because, for the last couple of years covering it, we've seen small little steps and we get really excited and then, it doesn't stick. And it seems like this is kind of sticking, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to continue to get better. And I think one of the things we have to remember too, because I've noticed this a little bit, is it's really easy to fall back into that, well, let's nitpick all of these little things. And yes, let's do that, but also let's enjoy it. You know what I mean?
I think people have forgotten what it's like to actually have a winning basketball team and how it really is easy to fall into that nitpick every last thing. But who's surprised you most? I mean, when you're watching this, who is somebody that you look at and you go, okay, I didn't expect that from him this year?
I mean, I just think, the way that all of the new guys, for the most part, have been able to kind of come in and do a really good job contributing, help with the leadership of the team. Just the whole vibe feels a little bit different. And I think, especially when you take into consideration how quick of a turnaround it was, shortened training camp, like COVID protocols, you didn't really get to go through that bonding, like get to know your new teammates kind of stuff that you would in years past. And, the fact that they've been able to do this well, considering all of those speed bumps, if you will, that kind of are happening from the beginning of the season through now, I think is really impressive. And I think hopefully it'll continue to grow. And, if we keep most of the squad moving into next season, it'll be even better because we'll have rotations figured out and everyone's chemistry will be even better. And I just think that's kind of cool. And I'm glad that they've been able to streamline that process, considering all of the oddities of how the season started and how it's even continuing to be.
So, Lindsay, how maddening is it, though, that after we go through the losing seasons, every single game being there and wishing that there was something to cheer about and wishing that the stands would be rocking every night, and now they're finally good, and nobody can go to the games. We're not at the games. It's like we're all literally watching from television.
I mean, like, I don't even. if there was ever something that's like Arizona sports, right? Just in general, like this,
Yeah.
I feel like this kind of encompasses
Yep.
Arizona sports for the last few years, right? It's like it's right there, and yet
It's
I
almost like they
can't, like,
relocated. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? And I mean that with all the love, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
Arizona sports for the last couple of years, it's like you get something small and you think, and then it's like, oh, something good happens, but then you're just dealing with it all the time. But I am really bummed that the fans don't get to be there, especially
Yeah.
with that new court, because that Valley
Mhm.
court is dope and those jerseys are awesome. And I know everyone can see them on TV, but it's just not the same. You know what I mean? Like it's not,
Right.
and just the whole arena being transformed. Like that arena looks awesome.
Yeah.
And there's a long way to go still. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that we have all these new shiny toys and we can't play with them is maddening.
I went to one preseason game, and the thing I couldn't take my eyes off was that new jumbotron in the middle of the court.
Yeah.
It's because it's
thing
finally
is
big enough for you to
awesome.
see. That's why.
And it's not pixely. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's not framed in that stupid like phone that they used
The
to have
old
up there. Remember
phone.
that? It was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
You know, it's
the
funny,
early
though?
2000s Android.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I worked for the Coyotes, we had a pretty old video board. And I remember I went to a Suns game and I was like, man, I wish I could at least get that video board.
Oh
Isn't that
no.
crazy? Like from one to one, like it's just how they have just developed and progressed and gotten better and better and better over the years is kind of crazy. Makes me feel really old, or just maybe technology is moving really fast. I'm going to go with the latter one.
Lindsay, if you're old, that makes the rest of us ancient on
Oh
this.
man.
on this
Yeah, don't do that to us. Don't do us like that, Lindsay.
I'm sorry, I
Oh,
didn't mean to
man.
do that. I'm sorry.
We already joke about age on this show.
Well, I mean, when Saul texted me and was like, "Hey, you want to come on and surprise the guys?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. What time?" He's like, 8:30, and I was like, "What are you guys doing awake and like working at 8:30 on a Saturday?"
Yeah.
There's
That's why I did say at the beginning of the show, I said, hey, I think we have a special guest if they wake up.
Yeah.
Lindsay, there is a reason why this show started this early originally. I had a newborn at home, and it was the only time I could get away because she was
Yeah.
actually asleep then. That's how it started. And
Tim,
for some-
Tim lives in Florida, didn't he?
And
Yes.
Tim was in Florida, and also like doing it on a weekday, you always got in trouble with the games and overlapping of games, and I was going to them and stuff, and so we didn't want to do any weekdays, and I didn't want to ruin my weekends doing this thing all day. So this is still perfect, obviously, since we're still doing it at this time.
I don't think it's perfect. I think it's one of those things that just becomes habit. But Lindsay, I gotta ask you, in the background, you have a lot of shoe boxes.
Yeah,
what is your
buddy.
shoe game like? I've heard you've got
Her
an
shoe
A+
game is
shoe game.
strong.
I
Strong.
mean, okay, so this is just like a set that I kind of have built in my house. There's shoes in here because I needed the storage as well. So I just keep these as like a background for any time I hop on any kind of a video podcast or when I do on camera things, just because it's kind of fun to have. But I mean, I don't think I would say I'm a sneakerhead. I think I'm like entry level sneakerhead.
You're not going to rival PJ Tucker? Is that what you're saying?
No chance. No chance. No, I'm not on Langston Galloway's level either. Like none of them. But I enjoy sneakers. But my thing is I don't really love. I'm 50-50 on like the exclusive ones because yeah, they're super cool. But at the same time, I kind of feel like a jerk for having like the plug or being the lucky one. You know what I mean? Like I just want to rock stuff that I think is
Don't
cool
shame.
and that-
Don't shame your own game. Okay.
That's
don't
right.
do that.
Oh,
Don't
there
do
you
that. No.
I have a
Don't
hard time
shame
with
your
that.
own game.
That is a really good piece of advice, all because I feel like if there's one bad habit I have, it's shaming my own game. I always feel like I'm apologizing for things that I'm just like, I feel bad doing this or whatever, which is dumb, but it is what it is. But no, my shoe game is just like entry level.
I'm
It's
impressed you
not
shaved
on us.
your name by joining us on this show. I mean, that's a shame in
Right.
its own. In its
Yeah.
own
Yeah, obviously you have
No.
you have you have issues if you're coming on with us on Saturday morning. Come on.
I mean, at 8:30 in the morning. I mean,
Woo!
that's fair. That's fair. Look
As
at how
as
big this cup of
Jones
coffee
in our
is.
as Jones in our chat said, we are the best damn 8 a.m. Saturday morning pod in the world.
That's right.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you
Plus,
are.
you're also getting some love from Germany and Portugal of all places right now. A lot of
Oh,
Suns fans
hey.
around the world saying they miss you.
Hey, I mean, honestly, like, I know you guys probably don't want to ask about it because it's awkward to ask about it. So I'll just bring it up. The furlough has kind of been a bummer. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
Like,
I was wanting to ask you.
especially,
I'll bet it's been a bummer.
yeah, especially like you said, with the winning season and, not having had a lot of winning teams over the last
Yeah.
couple of years. I'm a little bummed that I'm missing this, but at the same
Mhm.
time, I'm still really hopeful that I will be able to come back and rejoin the Suns family, and still hopeful that this team will continue to be performing at this level, if not better, when I am able to come back. So, our
Doing
furlough
the
is, go ahead.
go ahead, please.
Our furlough is essentially kind of through the end of the season this year. There is potential to maybe come back sooner. If not, I mean, a lot of things have to come into play for that to happen. But if not, they'll let me know at the end of the season what decisions have been made. I like I said, I'm really hopeful that I get to come back. I miss my teammates at work. I miss all of you guys. I miss going to games. I know you guys miss going to games, and so do
Yeah.
the fans. It's just a really weird time, like trying to navigate COVID and all of these protocols and being healthy and being safe. It's hard to know what the best move is, but I'm really hopeful that I do get to come back, and hopefully it happens sooner than later. But only time will tell.
Well,
I'm
we
sure you
we
don't.
we all miss you for very much as
Very
well,
much.
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
seeing each other around the arena and watching how hard you work behind the scenes and stuff like that is definitely something that I miss, and I probably took it for granted too at the time. I'm not gonna lie, like I think we all kind of did,
Yeah,
showing
we
up to the
did.
games and
Mhm.
whatever, and now we're all sitting here at home, just like what the hell? We don't get the popcorn and fruit at halftime anymore. What?
So I'll bring popcorn and fruit over to your house at halftime of the next game.
Yeah,
Admit it
So-
though, Lindsay, you don't miss having to get tested every day, right? Like that can't be something you miss, right?
No, I mean, so I didn't have to get tested very much at all
Remember,
during
she
the
was
situation.
stuck in the Project 201 bubble.
She was
remember?
she was
Stuck in the
never allowed to
transformation
leave the
center.
Project
She was
201.
always in the silo.
I was quarantining in my own little space in that
I don't think they
room.
ever let her out for like the entire 4 weeks in the bubble.
They didn't. And now she's probably furloughing there. Is that it in the background?
No, but I'm glad I don't have to get tested, and maybe there's a big picture reason for this. If you're trying to be positive or
Yeah.
philosophical or whatever, like maybe the big picture reason is that it's keeping me safe, it's keeping me healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to be positive about the whole thing. But I will say, Saul, you brought up the popcorn and cookies. I really miss the ranch dressing that the Suns had.
Yeah.
I know it was like basic Hidden Valley Ranch packets, but it was so good. There was something
Well,
about it. It was so
The
good.
trick is watering it down enough so it's not as strong as when you make it at home. That's what they do. Yeah.
Oh, the inner workings of
No,
being
everyone
a
does
media
that.
member.
Every restaurant does that. That's what I'm saying.
Whatever,
I mean-
whatever happens, whether you come back or not, Lindsay, you're super talented, and I'm sure you're going to land on your feet at some point, somewhere,
Well, thank
somehow,
you.
some way, because talent always
You
rises.
definitely
So,
will. And if you want to start
Thanks.
coming on the pod more often on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m.,
Yeah,
we
if
would
you-
love
If
to
you're
have
ever
you.
feeling froggy and you want to wake up at 7:30 in
You
the
guys-
morning,
Do you guys see these bags? And this is like me rolling out of
We
bed.
can't
30 minutes
actually.
ago. You
Look,
can't?
compared to us, you are
Yeah,
a 10.
trust me,
So hey,
yeah.
man,
If
probably a
if
20.
what you have are bags, I have full trunks under my eyes. All right?
Well, I mean, you do have
Steamer
children,
trunk.
so you get a little bit of a pass there.
Before we let you go, what is your favorite moment working sidelines for the Suns? What was that moment that you still think, okay, that was probably my best?
Wow. Put her on the spot.
Okay, I don't know that I would say these were my best, but favorite moments probably had to be the Kelly Oubre Mike situation thing. Honestly, because it, like I told this to you guys a few months ago, but it worked out so perfectly the way that Kelly was down for it. He made fun of it. Like it was all fun and everything worked out well. And then I think if I'm being personal, like all of the bickering and the funny banters with, EJ, K Ray, TC, and Tom. I think those were some really fun ones. Like one time we were arguing about whether the color of my dress was orange or brown on one of our Latin nights. We had some really cool Latin cuisine in the arena and we got to eat crickets. And just like those fun things, you know what I mean? They're hilarious to me. But I just think if we're talking basketball, I think honestly just seeing how Devin has progressed since I started with the Suns, not only as a basketball player, but how he leads this team, how he represents the city. I was talking to Cody Cunningham, he writes for the Suns the other day, and I was just like, it's crazy. Like Devin is grown up. Like he's an adult now. You know what I mean? Like you can see it in his face, you can hear it in his voice, the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, the things he does on the court. Like Devin's all grown up, and it's like he grew up right before our eyes. You know what I mean? And I just think that was really cool. I'm glad that I got to be there and see that, and I'm also really glad that I'm seeing. Now it's like, okay, we've been saying this for a really long time, and I know there was a lot of stuff around All-Star and everything there. Put some respect on that man's name. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, let's do it. Like, we're tired over here in the Valley telling you all the great things about Devin Booker. Like, just watch. Just watch. And then speak. Go speak and then watch.
I knew Devin Booker had grown a lot when I realized last week when we showed a highlight of Espo, and I was like, yeah, Devin Booker wouldn't be caught dead at Fiddlesticks throwing alley-oops to Espo.
Are you going to show this again? Are you going to embarrass me? Somebody in the chat wanted Lindsay to break down my dunking skills, which seems like an awful waste of her time.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't going to, so.
So Lindsay, for some context, his rookie year, they were doing a photo shoot up in the Gorilla's greenhouse, and he just decided that I was one of the few people in there, and he was just going to start throwing me lobs on a 7-foot hoop. And he was a big kid that rookie year, and you're totally right to see how much he's progressed, how he's changed, and just grown into this star has been amazing. I think you're completely right. I don't think. Oh God, we're actually going to show this, aren't we? Here we go. Hopefully Lindsay's watching her phone, so she can't see any of this. This is me.
No, I
really
see it.
I'm just so happy for him that he doesn't have to spend a post-game interview saying it's been hard winning. It's hard to win here. I mean, he did that once a month for 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, and Lindsay, I think you totally
got to take a toll.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
You bring up TC and EJ. Are there two guys that can talk more trash off camera than those two can? Like that, I don't think most people realize just how much trash those two guys can talk, and they will do it to anybody if they like them.
Yeah, even if they don't like them. It's literally anybody. They do not discriminate on who they talk trash to. Yeah. No, actually, that's a really interesting question that I've never thought about, but now that you bring it up, I don't know that I've ever been around two men who talk more trash than EJ and TC. And it's fun though, because I think the reason why it makes it work is because they've pretty much mastered, trash talking through or from love, I guess you could say. EJ, especially with me, he's always had my back. He is the most kind person that I have met in a really long time. Like, he's super sweet, but at the same time, he'll throw some zingers at you, and they'll cut a little bit, but he loves you, and it's all in good fun. And it's like, dang, EJ, really? And he's like, no, I'm just kidding. Come give me a hug.
He's like the older brother, right? He's like, I can make fun of you, but nobody else can.
Exactly. Exactly, because when we were at the table, so before games, our whole broadcast crew would be at the same table. We'd have dinner and everything.
They had their own clique.
They had their own clique. Nobody was invited. That's right.
That's
This
it.
goes back years.
everyone was
Secluded in the back
invited.
corner. It was like, do I go to the table? Do I say something? No.
You have to get the invite. You can't just go to that
can't- you have
table.
to get the special
You gotta get
invite.
the over here.
Yeah.
Then you're okay. Then you're okay.
I never got one of those. What did that look like?
I had to get the invite too, y'all. I had to get it too.
I had to fight just to
No.
get some damn pineapple at halftime, man.
Dude,
Hey, that goes fast.
that goes real fast. Real fast. But no, like somebody would make fun of me. TC usually would throw some jabs at me, and then EJ would start clapping back at TC. And I would just sit there and be like, is this what it feels like to have like older brothers? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? 'Cause I
there
don't
you
have any
go.
older brothers. I'm like, where somebody just comes in and they're like, oh, excuse me. It's like, I can get used to this. Like, I'm not mad at this at all.
Yeah, my bow tie used to be a matter of discussion between those gentlemen on numerous occasions back in the
believe it.
day. So I know I understand quite well, but I have nothing but love and respect for both of those guys and the way they bring it. So,
Yeah.
Lindsay,
sure.
any final thoughts before we let you actually go probably back to sleep because it's so
Well, I mean, I'm up now, so I may as well stay up because I put on a face. So it's the first time I've put on makeup in a little while. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's funny. I
No.
was joking with you. I actually call them long pants now because I haven't worn anything other than shorts almost in a year.
Okay. You know what's really funny? I
Dave
thought about
Dave bought some gray sweatpants. Don't let him play. Don't even let him play.
Oh, those, yeah, but real actual long pants, like work pants. Oh my God, how dumb does that feel to be wearing
Oh,
work
yeah,
pants
that's
these
true.
days?
That's very true.
yeah,
Lordy.
I had to put on I had to actually get real life like professional dress the other day because I had a shoot and it was the most uncomfortable like day that I've had in such a long time. I was like, I have my heels on, I have a dress, I have a skirt, like a couple outfit changes throughout the day, and I'm just like, this is awful. Like I can go home and put on some sweatpants and a sweatshirt, like this is what I live in right now. You know what I mean? Like Valley shirt
Hey,
and like you said, short pants. Like
Yeah.
that's it. That's
I was going to say, if you're wearing a dress and a skirt, that was your problem. But then you made sure that you had multiple wardrobe changes, so that makes more sense.
yeah, wardrobe changes.
So-
But go ahead.
I was just going to say, so any final thoughts on the team? Anything you want to share before we let you get back to your Saturday morning?
I'm just like I said, I'm just really excited for this team, for Suns fans, to finally be getting some good things. You know what I mean? Like we finally have some nice things. And I think all I'll say is continue to want this team to get better. You know, however you speak about the team, whether it's on podcast or on Twitter or with your friends and family, like continue to hold them accountable and push them to get better, but also enjoy it because it has been a long time since we've gotten to just sit back and watch some good basketball and genuinely be in games and have a winning record. So enjoy that part of it too. And then next season when we all come back to the arena, let's like be the loudest, most ridiculous arena in the entire NBA. Like I'm here for making this brand new arena like the most ridiculous, obnoxious arena in the NBA where other teams are like, I don't want to play there anymore. That's what I want.
There's enough new bars to fuel that for sure.
Exactly. Yes. All the
So the
liquid courage in the world.
So since we have stopped being able to go to games, the Suns have gone 29-11.
Are you saying
What
we're the
are the-
problem?
Stay
No.
away.
What is the chances that this turns out to be like a WandaVision thing, and when we're finally all invited back to the arena, it's back to the 20?
Knock it off, Dave. Turn his mic off.
See, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why we
Thank
can't.
you.
We just gotta take this dude away right now.
Dave
Come
in
on,
purgatory. We put him in
Gotta give him
purgatory.
a
Lindsay,
10
thank
second
you so
timeout.
much. We appreciate you. You are welcome anytime you want to come to the show. You're even welcome on the midweek episodes where we recorded a normal human time
Yeah.
as well. So
Right.
anytime you'd like to stop by,
Or hop on
we
post game.
truly
I'm sure you're sitting
appreciate
there
you.
watching games just like we are. So with sometimes we'll do a lunar panel as well.
Well,
Nice.
we
All
we
right.
truly appreciate you. We miss you on the broadcast, and I know I speak for everybody in the chat, Suns fans in general. We wish you nothing but the best, and we hope to see you very soon.
Same. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you. I miss you all. And for all the Suns fans who are listening right now, thank you so much for being so loving and so kind and showing all the support in the world on social media. I may not respond to every single one of them, but I feel it and I really appreciate it. And guys, have fun the rest of the morning. I'll see you later,
All
okay?
right.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Lindsay.
Thanks for coming
All right.
on.
That is Lindsay Smith. Definitely follow her on Twitter. We appreciate her taking her time out of her Saturday to join us here.
You're
on the show.
welcome.
Dave.
Yes.
Dave
Thank
King.
you, Saul.
I did not expect Saul to actually bring his A game. I thought this was going to be some joke where he showed some clip of something and it wasn't going to be a real surprise. I thought he was setting us all up, but that was quite the surprise, especially for the Flaming Ballers in the chat and the Suns fans out there. Always good to catch up with Lindsay Smith. Truly hope she is back soon, but I think it is time for something we like to call it's the Dave segment. No.
Oh,
The other
my
one.
bad.
The other one.
You can't set that up. Dave and I had already had that set up. You didn't come to the pre-production show and you screwed this whole thing up.
Okay.
Man,
Oh.
I'm so mad about this right now.
Let's go to Espo's Big Board, the best part of the show. Let's do it. Espo's Big Board.
No. Let's go back. Let's just rewind it like we did 2 Saturdays ago.
We gotta get
Go
this
ahead,
Dave, back on
set it
more
up.
wheels. All right. Is this the Stat Me Dave set up?
Oh.
Ooh, Dave, stat me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So much better than you guys. That's for sure.
You know what? We need to watch that one again.
Ooh, Dave, stat me.
Oh yeah. That's the way to get the Saturday started right there.
People in the
Baby.
chat are asking if I can restart the show. So should we
First
just
we
start from the
first we got
top?
Lindsay Smith, and then we got that. Man, it's awesome. This is all these new features. This is great.
Just wait. We have more things in store. Like I think maybe next week or the week after. We got some cool stuff coming along.
We do.
Yeah, you guys are awesome at what you do. That's for sure. I like being
Are you
the
going to
Vanna
stat
White
us or
here.
not, Dave?
All right, stat me. All right. Here we go.
He's still distracted. He's like, what?
Let's go.
Ooh,
All right.
Dave, stat me.
All right, I got a question for you guys. I need you to answer. DeAndre Ayton, does he defend more shots from 15 feet out or from 6 feet in a game?
I'll say 5 feet. Near the basket.
That wasn't the two.
No.
That wasn't one of those options.
Perimeter. 15
You
feet
say
out.
perimeter, Saul, and Espo says interior.
Yes.
Actually, he defends more shots slightly this year on the perimeter than he does inside 15 feet.
But how
Now,
well?
the first thing you're going to say is, well, he should be guarding the paint. But that's what teams are doing. They're trying to switch. They're trying to get him out on the perimeter. Is he any good at it? Actually, he is. Last year, you may think he's on the perimeter more this year, but actually last year, he led the entire league of people all shape and sizes guarding on the perimeter, defending over 8 shots a game on the perimeter, and he held people below their average. This year, he's holding them to almost exactly their average on the perimeter. Inside, he's one of the best in the league, and he's still one of the top defenders near the paint in the league too.
I think Friday night was a prime example of what you just said. In one play towards the end of that game, he had a block on I'm blanking on who he blocked. I think it may have been
it was Kobe White.
It was the guard. Yeah, Kobe White.
Yeah.
Kobe White.
And then I think he switched
Twice,
on. I think he switched on Levine. I think next and stopped him from hitting hitting a three, forced a shot clock violation, all in the same play. And I think that was a prime example of what you're talking about in both being able to defend well on the perimeter and down low, all in, I think it was a 10-second stretch to help them seal that win.
Someone commented that they think since that Jamal Murray shot a couple weeks ago, where Murray actually traveled to get enough space to get the shot off, falling sideways, that shot, since then, Ayton was a little more tentative on the perimeter. But really, that's I mean, we're picking out little tiny problems among a larger thing where he actually can defend. And Monty's putting him in space now. Monty is actually, I think, he hasn't said it specifically, but I think he's intentionally putting DA in space because he knows that's what teams will do in the postseason, and he wants to make sure DA is comfortable there. Not just on a quick switch. Not just on a quick switch.
You statted me real good, Dave.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome, actually. So I think DA is just getting ready for the postseason this way. He's ramping up the effort there. But he actually led the league in shots defended on the perimeter last year, and he's one of the top ones this year too.
Well, that was another edition of.
Oh, shit!
That was another.
Hey.
Ooh, Dave, stat me.
Snappy Dave.
Baby.
I think that might actually be becoming my favorite part of the program, even though the actual best part of the program is next, because we're jamming in a bunch of segments all in a row after our guest, Lindsay Smith. It's Espo's Big Board. That's right, Espo's Big Board back. And this week we are talking about, we go back to the beginning of the show, right? And it is the top shot, right? We were talking about those early in the show, and what it is this week is the top 5 worst top shot Suns cards that they could make, right? So stick with me here. Number 5, Robert Horry throwing a towel in Danny Ainge's face. Yeah, you're right. That's worth $0, I guarantee you. We're going to look at number 4. It is Caron Butler walking down the down the fashion show runway for the new Suns uniform. That's right, Caron Butler there at number 4. Number 3, one of my favorite moments in Suns history, but it would make a terrible top shot. Tim Kempton falling over a bunch of chairs in 92-93. Number 2 on the list, Elliot Perry in a bathtub full of socks. It's socks. In socks, you would get $0 for that top shot. And number 1, my favorite, it's Aaron Nelson attending to a bloody lip from Steve Nash. As much as I love Nelly and the former Suns training staff, I don't think anybody would pay any money for that top shot. So those are the top 5 worst NBA top shot Suns moments that you could put in one of their virtual cards. And that is Espo's Big Board.
Nice job. I like that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Nice job.
I figured we'd tie it all together. There was a method to the
Started
madness.
with top shot and you ended with top shot.
Yeah, well,
somebody in the chat said they paid for the Tim Kempton one, so
Blaze, I will see what we can do. We'll talk with my friends over at Top Shot. Maybe they'll make that one, since I was too dumb to invest in the product up front. So I think we got one more segment here.
We do. Now this graphic is absolute trash, and I'm going to fix it, but I just whipped it up at the last second. But we're going to call this Total Obscurity. This is a new segment that we're gonna throw in some pop culture references and some Suns cool stuff. And so your job is to guess what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. So the first one we have up, this show ran for 3 seasons, and it is based on a superhero. And it ran from, I think, 77 to 1980. So this is right in Dave's wheelhouse. But I used to watch it as a kid growing up because that's all I had. It also featured a very clumsy superhero.
Great American Hero.
Hey, look at this guy.
That show.
Nicely done. Look at Espo.
I do not remember that logo at all, but the Greatest American Hero was actually, a nerd.
It was actually really good, right?
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
You may have inadvertently found my wheelhouse here.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. This Phoenix Sun played for only 2 seasons and bounced around the NBA, but also played overseas. That's all I got. If I say anything more, it's going to give it completely away.
Horacio Llamas.
Dude!
Wow.
Dude! Look
Look at that
this
man.
guy. I don't think Espo's going to get this next one though, so I'm pretty confident in saying that.
I like how
All right.
hello goes by pop culture. You meant old things.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
Well, kind of. We're trending more current now. Okay. Now we're in the 90s, right? Back in the day, for those of you who don't know, Interscope, when they launched, they were trying to round up bands, and they didn't have like a hit yet. They didn't have a big time selling recording artist. And this gentleman actually set the tone for what Interscope was going to be.
That's not one half of Milli Vanilli, is it?
He had one hit.
It is Billy Ray Cyrus.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Not
but that's
Billy Ray
incorrect.
Cyrus.
Does anybody in the chat think they can get this?
Dude. People are too young.
It is Gerardo.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Rico Suave.
It is great that they photoshopped my abs on this guy.
Yeah. It's,
hey, Coach Fallen Founder said Gerardo.
There you go.
Rico
that.
Suave.
Nice.
I went two for
we got
3.
one more. We got one more. The
All
last
right.
one. All right. The last one is back in the day when NWA started, before they had their first hit under the Ruthless label, Ruthless actually produced their first gold recording artist that was not NWA, which actually financed Straight Outta Compton. What was that group?
Menudo.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know.
Menudo. Get the hell out of here. Menudo.
I don't know on this one. You've veered out of my lane.
I went to rap and that veered out of your lane. Is that what's going on?
Have you seen me? Did you hear me at the beginning of the show?
That's right. I forgot about that. Does anybody know who it's a girl group too? It's a girl group.
It's a girl group.
Yeah. Ooh,
Salt and Pepper.
No.
There's 3 of them. Never mind.
No, and it's not TLC.
Dang.
Yeah, tough one, right? This is actually a pretty hard one if you don't know.
Sun solar panel. Right on, Ricardo.
It is JJ Fad, Supersonic.
Good
They had
Lord.
a huge hit, and they actually financed NWA's first album.
Supremes.
I'm guessing that wasn't as hardcore as the NWA album based on the imagery.
No, not even a little bit. So that is Total Obscurity, a new segment we're going to do every single week that throws in a little pop culture, a little bit of Suns trivia. You got it.
But back to Hello's point, pop culture should contain some more current stuff.
I will have some more stuff that is current.
Right.
Don't
Okay.
worry.
I'll take 50%. All right. I was about as efficient as Shaq at the free throw line, so I'm glad to be here. Somebody said take me to trivia.
I'm impressed that you got the Horacio Llamas one.
Oh, that was the
Llamas.
easier one. I was amazed I got Real American Hero. So
Greatest American Hero.
Or
Yeah.
Greatest American hero.
Somebody in the chat says "Pop me, Saul." No, we're not doing
Pop
that.
me.
We're not doing that.
Pop me, Saul.
Pop me,
Yeah.
Saul.
Well, that is this has been a unique episode. Surprising things I never imagined we would have talked about. 2/3 of the things that came up on today's program, or have the great Lindsay Smith on the show. So this is this has been one heck of a fun
Hey,
show.
this just goes to show you don't know what weekend is going to be an awesome weekend. You need to come every single week. You need to subscribe to the show, all that good stuff.
I got Saul, you know, and I had a rough week, and Saul just made my week that much better with the surprise guest and the new segments and the Stat Me Dave production. Just wait though. Next week we're gonna have some cool new looks and different things coming. So get ready for that. I think you'll enjoy it. If you're watching, even if you're listening, you'll hear some new things coming up. We got plenty going on here on the solar panel. So you can follow Dave King, the Silver Fox, at Dave King NBA. The NBA is there because Dave knows about basketball. All right. That is why the NBA is there. You can follow the Carmel Thunder from down under at Saul_Bookman. The underscore is there because the Saul doesn't know as much about obscure things as the Bookman, and they just don't get along all the time. For those of you asking, yes, there will be a lunar panel coming up. I do believe we will be doing that right after the Lakers game coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Another very late lunar panel because that is an 8 p.m. game, which means
but it will start as soon as the game is over.
Yes. So if you don't want to listen to Shaq mispronouncing people's names or forgetting their
Ugh.
first names,
Yeah.
you can come
I
right
can't
here to
believe
the
they've
solar
got.
panel.
Can we rip on that a little bit sometime? Jeez.
Yes, on
They have
Tuesday
a
night would be a
skit where he
perfect
doesn't
time to
know
rip on
people's
it.
names.
Tuesday night they usually have the B squad in there, so it's like,
That's
whatever.
true.
It's Dwayne Wade and
Well, they
Shaq.
actually know their stuff better.
Yes, so we will be here on Tuesday night. You can follow me at Espo on Twitter. You can follow the show at Sun Solar Panel. We appreciate you, the Flaming Ballers, for listening and watching. We will talk to you on Tuesday night for the Lunar Panel. Ahoy hoy.